We are glad to see you back, our friends. Welcome to our series of lectures on how to prepare for IELTS exam by TOPjargan Educational Center. Let's start. Okay, guys, let's start with lesson number 7. I hope you are doing well, you are not tired, and you are ready to ace IELTS. So today we're talking about listening. Actually, we continue talking about listening. If you haven't watched our previous lectures, we advise you to watch lecture number 5 and 6. They are about listening preparation as well. And lesson number 7 is kind of final lesson about listening skills. Today, we will be talking about spelling and vocabulary, about techniques and exercises, how to develop our skills in this direction. Let's start with listening and spelling. So when it comes to spelling, we usually have a couple of questions all the time on IELTS listening about spelling. So literally we have to spell like names, dates, cities, emails, and so on. So try to practice. Don't underestimate this type of questions because they're usually easy and you get kind of this marks. So don't waste this chance, please. Just practice, okay? How to practice. You can find a lot of resources on YouTube, on the internet, or use AI. So you have to just keep practicing, expose yourself to different accents, to different types of words, like, again, as we said here, and just practice and practice. Useful advice here is that many people find confusing, especially at their beginning of IELTS preparation journey, this kind of letters. Let's go over together, like C, S, or this kind of letters are most common, which people kind of mistake and confuse. Y, W, H, and R. Let's stop on H. Sometimes in some dialects and accents, it can be like H. Sometimes it's H, so be careful. The same with R. If it's like more North American pronunciation, it will be like more like R. But if it's British, it will be more like ah. And when we say ah, some people confuse it with actually A. Okay? Vowels like A, E, I, O, U. Also be careful and learn by heart how they pronounce. M, N. It's just sometimes difficult to distinguish M, N even in your native language, right? And double letters. When you have, for example, double N, double S, or double U and W. So be careful with this kind of cases as well. When it comes to digits, we have 0. When we spell it in a number, phone number, or room number, sometimes it's just O. So bear in mind it as well. So that's like introductory to our spelling section. Now how to train. So along with the spelling exercises we talked earlier, so we recommend writing dictations, okay? So we have 3 seconds rule for dictations. What you do, you take the IELTS listening audio, you press play, listen for 2-3 seconds, you pause it, and you write what you hear. And you repeat it again and again. So once you write, like, let's say 10-15 seconds, you stop and check yourself. In Cambridge textbooks, you can find the scripts, which are usually at the end of the book, and you just double check yourself and then redo again, double check and redo, okay? This kind of cycle and circle is the key and very important in IELTS preparation. So that's a very, very powerful tool how to develop your spelling, your listening, your writing, and your focus. It actually develops a lot of skills. Dictation. So now let's move to vocabulary. When we talk about vocabulary, you remember our golden rule? 75% rule that we have to understand at least 75% of everything people say in audio files. If you understand less, unfortunately, it will be very, very difficult and challenging to get quite decent score. How to develop vocabulary related to listening? First, it's background listening. As we said before in our lecture number 5, I guess, use your time efficiently, okay? When you do some kind of routine activities, you're cooking, you are walking, exercising, just turn on your headphones and listen to the audio files. Listen again and again. Once you understand like everything, you can move on to the next one, okay? Shadow repeating. So also practice and imitate um, the way people speak. Repeat after them. Use the intonations. It will develop your listening and speaking skills as well and boost your vocabulary, okay? Because when you say it aloud, in this way, our brain and our cognitive listening, like hearing skills, will be activated in the most effective way. Next one is like read scripts, okay? When you listen to audio files, when you like repeat them, then you have to read them, okay? So you find in old Cambridge, like books, you find at the end the scripts. Please read them, read aloud as well. You will find that scripts actually are not so difficult. They're quite okay level of English. Yeah, and yeah, that's something happened to our background, but you see how intense our class is. Something happened to our background line, but that's totally fine. We don't give up, we continue. So read the scripts. Next one is like listening again. So it's about, as you remember, it's about repeating, 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 but not just repeating for the sake of repeating, repeating in an efficient way, okay? Work smartly and remember the golden rule. Quality over quantity. It's better if you squeeze maximum out of one mock test on listening, yeah? Okay, and you get the maximum out of it, and then only after that you move to the next one. So when you work on vocabulary, we advise, especially if you are pre-intermediate, intermediate level of English, um, focus on listening section 1 and 2 only. Don't start section 3 and 4 because they were difficult for you. So try to focus on section 1 and 2. Once you start getting like 6, 7 out of 10 correct answers, you can start like section 3 and 4. Okay, that's our plan. So this is also about smart way of learning. So we maximize everything we can from first 2 sections, and only after that we move to section 3 and 4. So this is an example of a script from real paper. As you can see, actually this is section 4. It's supposed to be the most difficult one, and it is when we listen to it. But when you read it, you can see that the text itself, it's not so difficult, yeah? Good morning. In the last few lectures, I've been talking about the history of domestic building construction, but today I want to begin looking at some contemporary experimental designs for housing. So I'm going to start with a house which is constructed more or less under the ground. Quite okay. It's nothing to do with the reading passage 3. The text itself is quite okay level. It's not super easy, but it's okay level. It's a good illustration that when you read it, it's quite easy. That's why it's very important to read. When you read, you give information to your brain, visual information to your brain, and you connect visual information with your, where's my left? Right, okay, left. So you connect your listening and your reading together in your brain. That's why it's very important when you prepare for listening to read and to listen together. Okay, guys, that's all for today. Thank you for joining and good luck in your preparation. In the next lectures, we'll be talking about speaking and rating. See you soon. Take care and goodbye.